Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and another half-baked lunatic puzzle today. These are always fun, and I think David Workman said this would be good for the channel particularly. He is half-baked lunatic, and I'm sure he's not the half-baked lunatic. He seems like an incredibly clever guy to me. This one is, well, it's a thermo and killer Sudoku, but it's a yin-yang. So I like getting to grips with these. They're fun, but they can be very vicious too. So we will see how it goes in a moment. Now, first of all, don't forget to join our Patreon if you haven't already. There's great content every month. We have a brilliant Sudoku hunt this month. It is, of course, Duality, or November the 1st is the launch of Duality 2 by Skunkworks, and they are marvelous. And the duality means that every puzzle has some feature that has two functions at the same time, and they're really clever. 15 puzzles at least, in fact maybe 16, depends how you read it, and do check them out. It's just brilliant stuff. That's on Patreon, along with all the other content we post there. There is all of our apps which do feature Thermo and Killer Sudoku, amongst many others, and they are great fun too. There's our merchandise, which is top quality goods, and there's Sven's SUDOKU PAD, which is the best Sudoku interface out there, and do support Sven if you can. He's a genius. Right, let's have a look at Complementary Interconnected Forces, a fantastic title. And the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Digits along a thermometer must increase from the bulb end. The digits in a cage must sum to the number printed in its corner if given. Digits may not repeat within a cage. So far, so normal. Shade some cells such that the shaded cells and the unshaded cells each form a single orthogonally connected region, but no 2 by 2 area can be completely shaded or unshaded. So that is the yin-yang rules, and we know a few things about these rules. Now, here we go. Even number digits in a cage are always shaded. Odd digits are always unshaded. Odd digits on a thermometer are always shaded. Even digits are always unshaded. So it's the other way around. And what that means is I'm going to have to keep that rule where I can read it all the time. Otherwise, no chance. I'm just going to read it again. In a cage, the even digits are shaded and the odd ones are unshaded. But on a thermometer, it's the odd ones that are shaded and the even that are unshaded. Wow, well that's clearly going to help us somehow in determining the regions, but I don't know how. Let's give it a whirl. Let's get cracking. You can try on the link below the video. Now, yin-yang. Oh, well, no, hang on. Let's do a little bit of Sudoku. That's a 9-7 pair in a 16 cage. This is 9-8-7-6 in a 30 cage that's 4 cells. There was a rule that digits can't repeat in a cage. There was, just checking. 23 is a 9-8-6 and 4 is a 1-3 pair. And those are kind of giveaways that we can fill in. But, and I can, yes, okay. I was going to tell you some things about yin-yang, and I will do in a moment, but we can immediately colour these cells because odd digits in a cage are always unshaded. So we'll use yellow for unshaded and purple for shaded. Grey would be my first choice, but that's going to obscure potentially some thermometers. So we have a perimeter break here. Now, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is that in a yin-yang puzzle, the perimeter is particularly fascinating. It can only contain 2 maximum runs of colour. And that is because if you had more than 2 runs of colour, you would have at least 4. You'd go purple, yellow, and then back to the first purple. And if you did that, say you had purple here and purple here, you would have to join those purples together somehow and it would cut off the two yellow areas from each other, which is illegal. And that is why the perimeter cannot have more than 2 runs of colour. Now, what that means, in turn, is that the maximum number of colour changes in the perimeter is 2. We now know that there's a maximum 1 purple and 1 yellow run in the perimeter. And therefore it changes from purple to yellow one side and from purple to yellow the other side. 2 maximum changes. And I am telling you that there is a perimeter break, a colour change here, because that is yellow and on the perimeter. And if those were both yellow, we would form a 2 by 2. So there is a break. This cell is purple. I don't know what this is. Hang on, I'm not even sure of that. There is the very faint possibility that the whole perimeter could be yellow apart from that cell. Okay, so I need to find another perimeter break, and I've just found one in the 23 cage. The perimeter is fascinating. Right, the 23 cage has to have a perimeter break in it because it's a 4-cell cage adding up to an odd number. It can't be all even digits or it would add up to an even number, and it can't be all odd digits because with 4 of them it would add up again to an even number. So this cage has evens and odds in. This area has yellows and purples in. Yeah, the fact that, sorry, I should explain further, that the fact that the cage has both evens and odds in means that by the cage rules it has both yellow and purple in. And therefore there is a perimeter break here, and there is one around here. And now I do know that this continues down at least into the 23 cage. This provides purple that continues around the whole grid at least into the 23 cage. And what I was planning to do when I first found that 1-3 pair was colour all this, and I've done it a different way. And I'd forgotten that I was going to do that, but I thought I probably could. Anyway, we're all good. We're all golden. Well, we're more purple than golden. But to avoid a 2 by 2, we can put yellow there. Now, this 11 cage, by parity, we've got 1 odd and 1 even so far. And that adds up to an odd number. This is going to be even. Even number in a cage is always shaded, so that's purple. That's yellow to avoid a 2 by 2. That's yellow because yellow has to get out. This cage needs 1 of each parity, so that's yellow. This cage, I was planning to think about this earlier. This has 6, 8 and 9. It's got 1 yellow and 2 purples in it. I don't know how that works. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you about Yin-Yang is that you can't have checkerboards, by which I mean purple in those 2 cells and yellow in those 2. Because to join up the 2 yellows, you would cut off 1 of the purples. And vice versa. So that's a rule that we will be applying. Now, this is purple because otherwise we get a 2 by 2. Now, what do we know about purple shaded on a thermo? The shaded on a thermo is always odd. So that one is 1, 3 or 5, and this one is 1, 3 or 5 because there's 7, 9 already in the box. This one is 1, 3 or 5 because it's the first cell on a 5-cell thermo, so we can't go higher than that. This is 3, 5 or 7, and that's 5, 7 or 9. This one could be any of 1, 3, 5 or 7. 9's the only odd digit it can't be. Now, this is yellow in a cage, so it's odd. And this is purple in a cage, so it's even. It seems so odd having a digit determined as even there because it's purple and odd here because it's purple, but that's how this rule set works. Oh, that's a 1, 3 pair, so that's a 5. Glorious. Right, so I can do this whole thermo. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yellow on a, or even on a thermo is yellow, just like that 8. I mean, if I go wrong at some point and colour one of these wrong, then that really could multiply because I'm planning to use these examples that I find as shading templates everywhere. Anyway, 6 sees that cell, 8 sees those two, 9 sees that one. Now, this cage, we know the numbers are 6, 7, 8, 9, so there's 2 odds and 2 evens, and they're not allowed to be checkerboarded. So they must be striped either vertically or horizontally. And actually, that means this is not a 6, because this one's definitely even. Even in a cage is purple. And the fact that it can't be a checkerboard means that's not the 6, that's yellow. That's quite odd, quite strange. Be careful with your terminology, Mark. Now, what? I mean, this is unfolding very interestingly. I mean, I never mentioned this at the beginning because I assumed we would learn something about it, and we will, because it's a cage so that we can colour its digit, I think. Because otherwise this could either be yellow or purple in the final pattern. I think that's why there's a 1-cell unnumbered cage there. Oh, the 5 obviously contains an odd digit here, which is 1 or 3, and an even digit there. This 11 has an odd digit here, which could have been a 7, except for the 7-9 pair looking at it. So it's 1, 3, or 5. Oh, the even digits here are a 2, 4 pair, because 8, 6 have gone in the column. So that now is a 5 to make it add up to 11. I've got a 2, 4 pair in the top row. Now, down this column, that is a 7, 9 pair, because they see the 1, 3 pair in the box and 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 in the column. It's a naked couple, a naked pair. This is the other of 1 or 3 from there. Now, 7 or 9 and 1 or 3 on a thermo are purple. Yellow has to get out. Both of those yellows have to get out. So this is an even digit on a thermo, 2 or 4. This one I don't know its colour, I don't think. 9 and 5 though, in this box, surely they have to be in these cells. So now I know the colour here, it's purple. You shout if I get one of these wrong, and I won't hear you, so it won't help. 9 can't be there because of the 9-5 pair. This is now even, definitely, in a cage, and is therefore purple. Now these yellows have to keep getting out. They're just getting longer and longer. This one is now a known yellow in a cage, so it is odd. That is a 9. The 6, 8 are both even, so they're both purple, and this yellow has to get out, and this thermo is 2, I was going to say 2 odds in a row, but it's not. It's actually 2 evens. This is why it's so hard to get used to this rule set. 5, 9, 1, 3, and 2, 4. 2, 4, 5, 9. Well, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be as much Sudoku as I would hope in columns 1, 2, 3. Maybe I should know this colour. By Yin-Yang? No. Okay, let's have a look at this, which can't be 9, 2 now. It's got to be one of each colour, because it's in 11 total. That's 1 odd and 1 even. And we're not allowed a checkerboard, so we can actually put the colours in, yellow and purple. And this yellow now has to get out to there. And on a thermo, a yellow is even. So this is 2 or 4. It can't be 6 because of that, and it can't be 8 because of the length of the thermo. This is now 1, 2, or 3 below it. We do seem to be getting stripes of yellow across the grid. I wonder how long that will continue. It'll suddenly end just when I'm thinking it's a pattern we can rely on, or have just relied on it. Now what? I mean, again, we can't have, I was going to say, we can't have checkerboards. Do these 14 and 22 cages have to be 2 odd and 2 even each, I'm wondering? The only way that they're not, given that they're even numbers, is if they're all 4 even digits. That doesn't work for either of them because the 4 even digits add up to 20, and neither of these cages has a 20 total. But they could be 4 odd digits. If this one was 1579, it would add up to 22. This one can't be 4 odds or 4 evens, so it is 2 evens and 2 odds. I don't know if that's helpful. They will be in a stripe pattern or either horizontal or vertical. That's all I know. Okay, but did I know anything about the numbers here which aren't 9, 2? Well, I know this is an odd number, so it's 3, 5 or 7. It can't be 1 in an 11 cage. This is 8, 6 or 4 and is even, obviously. And there's the 4 evens in the column. I mean, they're hard to pick out because they're not all the same colour. But that means this is odd, and we know its colour, which is purple. And it is no, it's not 1 on that cell of a thermo. It's 3, 5 or 7, and this is lower. But this could be yellow, so I don't know after that. Now, I haven't really got anywhere with this. That can't be a 9. I don't know, that doesn't actually feel very helpful. 1, 3, 7, 9, 5. I've looked at that before and not really got anywhere in this box. There is a 7 in one of those 2 cells. It can't be here on a thermo which has a maximum 7 there. It's not there because of the 7-9 pair, so that is the 7 in column 3. Then the remaining digits in this box are 1, 3, 6 and 8. This one can't be an 8 by thermo rules. 2 and 4, that 2 or 4 must go in this cell in row 2. And therefore this is not a 5. This is 1 or 3, and this is bigger, and it's even, so it's yellow. I want there to be a bit more yin-yang that I can do, but I don't know how to go about that yet. 9, 2, 4, there's definitely an 8 in this box. That's yellow. If that was purple, it would be a 6, and that would be an 8. Then none of these, so daft. I actually allowed for the possibility of this whole box, this whole cage, being odd, which is incredibly dumb because that would give a 2 by 2 in one colour. So both of these boxes are stripes of yellow and purple. I don't know if that lets me fill them in. Maybe I could do maths on the whole of these columns. Actually, even that column is maybe susceptible to maths. So you may know a secret that I know, that every row, column and box in a Sudoku adds up to the same number. It's always 45. If you know that, you realise that these columns add up to 90. And if we deduct out the cages, which add up to 66, we're left with a total of 24 for these digits I've got highlighted. Is that any use to us? I don't think it actually is, but it was worth checking. We've got some longer thermos as well, and this one can't end in a 9. So, also there's an 8 in one of those cells in this cage. So this digit is 7, 6 or 5. Then we're down to 6, 5 or 4, 5, 4 or 3 now. Has that done anything up here? 9. Well, none of these look like they can be 2 or 4 according to what I've pencil marked. That's correct. So this is 2 or 4, and that's a pair in this box. And although that was surprising, it hasn't really helped a lot, unless it helps down here, and I don't see how. But that was interesting. It is a longer thermo, and therefore it has got some value. So this digit can't be 6, 9, 2 or 4. It can't be 3 from this position on a thermo. So I'm going to put 5, 7 or 8 there. 6, 7, 8 or 9 here. Here, this isn't allowed to be a 7, so 6, 5, 4 or 3, and this can be 2, 3, 4 or 5. I'm unlikely to find another quintuple or sextuple. It was basically a sextuple that I found up here. Maybe that deserves more study. If that was, 7 is in one of those cells in this row. That's odd. 7 is an odd digit. That's not what I mean. There's almost a 2, 3, 4, 5 quad here. Oh, look, 9 is looking at that cell. There you go. That's just basic Sudoku rules. Now, that's purple. It's part of a 6, 8 pair. This is where the 9 goes and it's yellow. Now we're in business again. Neither of those can be 6 because of the 6, 8 pair. What does that mean? We've got a 1, 3, 5, 7 quad. Doesn't really do much. 9 is looking at that cell, so that's 5, that's 9. That doesn't sort out the thermo. This becomes a 3 though, and that's an 8 because this cage actually adds up to 11. So this is not a 3, and now that's not a 4, but it's also not a 5. So that's a 6, that's a 7 on the end of the thermo. I don't know. Oh, that can't be 3. So that's 5, that's 1, that's 4. This column is just falling and faltering to us. There we go. 7 there, 9, 7. Oh, I don't know what that is. This can't be 3 or 5. So I know it's colour. 2 or 4 on a thermo is odd. Is yellow, is what I mean. So Yin-Yang says this is purple to avoid a 2 by 2. So it's odd, 3 or 5. Now we've got 1, 2 and 4 to place in row 4. What else is going on? That's not a 5 anymore, both by thermo and Sudoku. These aren't 1s. 4, 1, 5, 7, 6, 2, 7. That's not allowed to be a 2, so I can colour this. 1 or 3 on a thermo. Actually, the same as 7 is purple. 6 is yellow. So we are getting these stripes. They're just continuing. But this could be yellow, so I can't colour that yet. 6 sees an 8 here. That cage is complete. That's not allowed to be an 8. Are some of these done and I can't tell? Don't know. That I can colour. It's purple, unsurprisingly, for the stripes. That's a 9 by elimination, and that is coloured purple, of course. I bet this is yellow, but I don't dare do it yet. Now, there's no 9 in this cage now. Is that interesting? The maximum it could add up to 8765 equals 26. I don't think it can have a 1 in it. So there is a 1 in one of those 3 cells. I don't know. Oh yeah, there isn't a 1 there because there's a 1, 3, 2, 4 quad in this box. So these are from 5, 6, 8. Interesting. So there is a 1 in one of these 2 cells in column 9 because there can't be 1 in this thingy, this box. Now, I probably know the colour of this. Oh no, I don't. I know it's parity, and that won't tell me its colour. I know it's I don't know its parity because I don't know the parity of those cells. I was again thinking of adding up columns 6 and 7, but I've realised I'm failing to understand again. Now, there's a 2, 4 pair here. And this box needs another low digit. 1, 2, 3 or 4. Down here we've got 2, 4 and 6 to place. Now, those are all even interesting. These are all low in this row. Now, how are we going to get to 22? Maximum there is 7. The minimum of these two is 15, so we've got to be using at least 6 in each case. This one sees 6 and 7 in the box. So now 17, 24 is the absolute max. I have a feeling we can't have a 1 in these cells. No, that's not correct. That's poor maths. 6, 2, 7. That can't be a 6. That can't be a 2. This is the only place for 9 in the box. Honestly, why does it take me so long to find something like that? 7 has to be in one of those cells in the row. Oh yes, obviously that 7 has ruled that out from being a 7 already. Now this is, I don't know. Don't know anything about it. Let's look in the column. 9 has made that a 7. Oh, that's probably going to be quite big and has probably been available for a long time. Well, maybe it doesn't do... Well, 7 in row 8 is in one of those two positions. Now, this is another box, a cage where we've got stripes. I don't know. Again, I'm sure they're horizontal just because of the pattern that is developing, but I don't know how to use that. Oh, there's a 1 in one of these two cells in box 5, so that's not a 1. Now, the 14 cage, there are various ways of making up a 14 cage. One of them was 2, 3, 4, 5. That's now eliminated because we've got a 1 in the cage. So, is it... I don't know. I think there are slightly too many options for me to actually try and rule that out. However, in this column, there is a biggish digit here because we've only used 2 of 6, 7, 8 in the column, so the other one does appear in this cage. Now, if it was an 8, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 8 cage. If it's a 7, it would be 1, 2, 4, 7. And that digit would definitely... Oops, that digit would definitely appear there. But if it was a 6, there are 2 options. Oh, I think I'm making a meal of this now. The 1 in box 8 is in one of those 2 cells. This is all much more straightforward than I'm finding it somehow. There is a 5 in one of those 2. 6 in this column could be at the top. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, these have to be yellow to get the yellow out. Oh, I'd forgotten to look after that. 5, 1, 7, 9, and they can't have a 4, so that's the 4 in the row. These are from 2, 3, 6, and 8. 9 is up there specifically. That's just Sudoku. That's the last 9 in the grid. It's been available forever. So coming down this column, 9, 7, 6. 5 is either there or at the bottom. In fact, 5 is in one of these 2 cells in box 8, so that's not a 5. That's 1 or 3 in the bulb here. 6 in row 5 is in one of those 2 cells. I really am making a pig's ear of this now. Oh goodness. There's got to be a way to get through this more quickly. 2 and 4 are both seeing that cell. So that's a 1 or a 3. That now can't be a 1. That's a weird 2-4 pair that matches, I don't know, probably means that is the same as that. No, it literally doesn't. It means those two have to be different. Otherwise, you couldn't play, if those were the same, you couldn't place that in row 5. So those two are different, which means this digit can't be a 2 or a 4. Is that useful? No, because it couldn't be a 2 or a 4 before at all. Ah. Okay, I'm going to be able to add up the total of these cells by, again, adding up all of these, which are 66. Taking that away from 90 to leave 24, and then taking out those 3 which added up to 8. So these 3 add up to 16. It's a very middly number. 16. And these are from 2, 3, 6 and 8. So they're not too... Could they be there? They can't be both high or both low, because if they were both high that would be a 2, which it's not, and if they were both low it would be an 11. So there's some combination. 2, 6 would go with an 8. 2, 8 would go with a 6. That's not possible. 3, 6 would go with a 7. That's not possible. 3, 8 would go with a 5. So this is 5 or 8 down here. I feel like I did a lot of work for no gain there. Oh, goodness. I'm sure I'm not meant to be getting stuck at this point in the puzzle. I feel like I've done all the hard work and then it's all just ebbing away. 6, 2, 9, 4. These are, that is 1, 3, 5 or 8. Is there some digit that has to be... Now, we worked out earlier that one of these is high, 6, 7 or 8. Right, how high does that let these be? If there was a 6, I suppose you could have a 5 here along with 2 or 1. I almost feel like I could rule out a 4 being in one of those cells and therefore place one here, but I'm not certain that's right. Maybe I should have worked on this cage. Oh, of course, this has 2... No, this has an unbalanced number of cells in it because it adds up to an odd number. It's the only 4-cell cage in the grid that adds up to an odd number. And that means it either has 3 odds or 1 odd. And these two are the same colour. Now, if they were purple, this would be yellow. Yellow would have to get out through there, which would be a 7. If these were yellow, oh, I don't know. I just haven't even thought about this yet. Oh, I don't know. I thought I was onto something there, and again it's petered out. 5, 7, 6, 8. This purple, I was going to say it has to get out through that cell, but that's not true. This could go 3, 5, 9. If that was purple, this would go 3, 5, 9. That would be a 2. That would be a 1. That's quite interesting. If this was a 5, that would have to be an 8, and that would be a 6. Then we'd only have low digits left to put in the column, and that would have to be a 4. So if that's a 5, that has to be a 4. If that's a 3, that's a 1 by Sudoku. So this is always a 2, because if that's a 5, 8, 6, 4, 2, and if that's a 3, this has to be a 2 by thermo, so that is a 2. Oh, that might actually get something done, strangely. That's a 1 now, and that isn't. This can't be a 1. Didn't I say this cage couldn't have a 1 in it? In fact, what are the maxima at the moment? 7, 4, 8, 6, say. Adds up to 25. That's only 2 degrees Freedom. Yes, earlier I said 8765, but that stops that happening. And this stops it being 7865. So 8 must be in this cage. Otherwise 7654 just doesn't, only gets to 22. So 8 is in this cage, and that's not an 8. That doesn't do anything. But if we can now say 23 plus that. Okay, if this was a 6, that might be interesting. This is a 5. And then the most this can be is 8743, which only adds up to 22. That's not enough. So this is not a 6. The 6 in the box is here. The 6, yes, the 6 in box 6 is there. That gets a colour, which in a cage is purple. I still have to check the rules now. Now that means this is yellow because we're always striping one way or the other in these, and that means this is odd and 1, 3 or 5. It also means by Sudoku this is 8, that's 6, none of these are 6. That 8 says that's not 8. Now I've got 5, 6 pair in the top row, and that's not 6. Oh, that's not 4. That's been available for literally ever in the top row and might have done some damage. 2 comes out of this possible cage, which I always thought was likely, if I'm honest. 2 is there in column 7. It's the only place, and it's purple, which I could have coloured a while ago when I got that as yellow. 4, 8, 9, 6. That is now not able to be any even digit, so it's odd and yellow, and that has to be purple and is not 1. It is an even digit that is 2 or 4. Right, this cage has got a 6 in it. The other 3 add up to 8. They definitely need a 1 in one of those cells, so that's a 3 at the start of the row, and that's a 1, and that's a 3, and that's a 1, and that's a 3, that's a 6, that's an 8, that's a 1, that's a 6, that's a 2, that's a 4. The first 4 columns are all fully done. That can't be a 6. That's a 3, 4 pair, so by the powers, that is a 1. This, I was going to say it has to be purple, but I don't think, yes. No, I don't think that's proved yet. Oh, that's so strange. I'm sure it is proved, I just can't work it out. That is 6 or 8. Now, let's add up this column and work out what those 2 add up to. Those add up to 12, plus 23 there is 35. These 2 add up to 10. Well, they can't be 2 5s. So that's a 6 in the corner, which I could colour if I could spare the time to work out what colour that would be in a cage. 8 here. These are a 5, 1 pair to make the addition right. That's an 8. That's a 4. That's a 7. That's now 3, that's now 8. By Sudoku, that's a 5, so I hope the maths works. That's a 4, that's an 8, 5, 3, 1 and 6. This is all working absolutely gloriously. That's an 8. I hope that cage works. It doesn't. I've messed up there. That's not an 8. That's all I did wrong. That's a 7. And now it does work, 16, 20, 22. Good thing to be checking. Right, 4 there. 1 and a 5 and a 5 and a 1. That's a 3 at the top. That's an 8. 3 and, when I put this digit in, which is a 2, it will complete the puzzle. And the thing will tell me I'm right. But I want to finish colouring first. So 5 on a thermo is purple. 4 on a thermo is yellow. 4 in a box is purple, and 7 in a cage, is yellow. 8 on a thermo is yellow, and I think those are both yellow because they're the same as that 7. This 6 is in a cage and it's purple, and I think what we've got, isn't this the pattern that Simon draws to demonstrate a yin-yang that works? And I don't normally do here's a demonstrating yin-yang, and I don't have a standard version, but I think Simon does. So that's why Half-Baked Lunatic has created this. And sure, if I'd made that assumption, I mean, I could see the stripes forming early on, but I thought maybe we're looking at a big 3 or something, but of course this is Simon's shape. So that's a 2, and that is the completion of complementary interconnected forces. Simon, I hope you're laughing right now, says the error message. Well, I'm not Simon, but I am laughing. Excellent work, Half-Baked Lunatic. That was fun. And thank you for watching, as always. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.